This is the new MD Reed's Bassoon Reed Profiler. It's selling for a considerably lower price than what was otherwise available, and yet its workmanship and how well the materials are built is probably better than the previously available versions. First you have this that slides on a well-designed bearing meant to be used as a sliding bearing. The blade, which is carbide, is held in here, and there's a second blade down below, perhaps you can see, so if you ever need to have this one sharpened, you can replace it with the second blade. Paul Deegan tells me that most of us will probably never need to replace the blade because it's carbide, not just a high-strength steel. Here's the bearing that rides on the ramp, which determines the profile. Probably see a little later that there's a split right here, and this determines when the taper changes from fairly gentle to a little more greater as it goes towards the tip. This is typical of a double taper type reed. There are other ramps available, and if you know what you want, Paul, and when you order it, Paul will not charge extra for it, or you can get a new ramp with a different shape for $50. He also says that he'll sharpen the blades for free if you just pay the round-trip postage, and a new blade, I believe, is $30. So we're talking about pretty reasonable amounts here. These are the two stops, one to stop at the tip, and this one determines to stop at your collar. You notice they have locking brass fittings here. This is the what I would call a cylinder that you mount the cane on, and these beautiful brass hoops, or whatever you want to call them, are what hold it in place. There are lines here and here, as well as a center, so that you can center the cane, and then simply slip these on. Make sure you open them up enough so they get all the way on there. There we go. And you can double check the positioning. This needs to come a little bit farther this way. There we are. The other thing is, in a way, there's a benefit that it's flat, because you can make sure you are in the middle, and because the relationship of the pins with these pins are slightly off center to provide the greater profiling towards the side edges of the cane. So all we have to do is drop this in place, and when you're, now I don't know if this is the way everybody does it, but this is what I learned at Glickman Popkin Bassoon Camp. We're actually only going to shape one half of the cane, and then we turn this around, and you start over here, you just move this slowly, this side slowly by hand, and start now. The first time around, flip this around so that we're working evenly on both sides, and start again. Paul actually has a metal bar here that keeps you from being able to take off more than a small amount of cane. It's kind of like a hand plane. Now, because I don't need to flip back to the other side, we'll do the second one here and then flip back. So here's the next one. And now I'll flip it around. You can see the second one on this side. There's no way to avoid getting a lot of chips from this, and my wife gets a little upset when she finds them around the house, so should probably try to clean up after doing one. lose track of where you are, it's really no problem, because in the end you cannot shave any more cane off than this ramp will allow. I believe we pretty well got that side, but we'll probably check it again just in case. Now at this point, I recommend taking your knife and creating the center line, because it's marked nicely on here, and that way you'll make sure you fold it on the center as this is designed. Now you don't have to worry about there being excess chips here and so forth, because when you fold, after you fold the cane, you're going to clip the tip, and what's going on right here is immaterial. I'm going to just put the knife right there and roll this around. Put the knife at the center line and roll it. You don't want to score too much. You do not want the tip to open up when you're making the reed. So that's all there is to it. Now let me just show you a side view. I forgot to mention these adjustment knobs. They allow you to adjust either the front or the back of the ramp, so that as you change designs, or you can try out a new design with greater perhaps slope, you can change the slope by changing one of these knobs more than the other. They basically are detented at half positions and whole positions and have numbers on them. And I'm putting it back because I don't want to lose track of where I was, but you can write these numbers down to keep track of your reeds. You can basically, they're detented and you can get back to where you were at, so that if you want to try a new design with a new setting here and they say no, that doesn't work, I want to go to a new go back, you do this. By changing one side more than the other, you can change the slope of this as well. Another interesting feature of this that I wouldn't have expected is need Allen wrenches to loosen a couple of the screws. Well, not too easy to get out, but you can get them out because they're held by a magnet. There we go. What's beautiful about this is that quite often one loses track of Allen wrenches. If you've got a set, you put it back in the set and then trying to figure out the right one. So with this, you never have to worry about losing them so long as you put them back in the device. That's about it. I'll show you what the cane looks like. Not sure if I'm gonna. I think you can see that it is much thinner in the middle than the ends, as one would expect. There's a fairly well-defined collar here, but most of the time you have to use a knife and kind of cut this collar back. No profiler is able to do this perfectly, I think this is what you should buy. It's cheaper and it's better than the other ones that are available. Paul is doing this because he basically thinks we ought to have something like this at a lower price. He's working on some new products. He believes in beautiful finishes. You see that we've got this is blue anodized, this is stainless steel. Virtually all of the mechanical steel parts are stainless, and you can actually get it ordered in a different color, but there's a $50 extra charge.